spread, and we see that right from this Arabian Sea, where you have Karachi ports and you have Gawadar port and you have Pasni port and all that. So this is the railway line जो आपको नजर आ रही है. This black line represents the ML-1, which we call ML-1. So ये the orange, the purple line that you see, which starts from Kotri, this is on the right bank of the river Indus, and it goes on Dadu, Jacobabad, DG Khan, Laiya, Bakkar, Miawali, and on to Attak, and it joins ML-1 at Attak, ML-1 Karachi, and on to Peshawar, a black line from major cities of Pakistan: Hyderabad, Nawab Shah, Sakkar, Multan, Lahore, Rawalpindi, and Peshawar, ML-1. But when you look at ML-2, जो purple line, it is shorter, but should have been in as good a condition as ML-1, but physically नहीं. ML-3 then starts from Rodi, center में, the blue line that is going towards Iran. This is ML-3. इसके दो branches हैं, one is Chaman line and one is this Harnai line. Will be restored already. Gawadar has yet to be connected. And the red lines that you see on the map, these are all branch lines or subsidiary lines. Some of them very important lines, but known as branch lines. So ML-1, ML-2, ML-3. Now, as I said, the black line is ML-1, Karachi. This purple line is ML-2. And this blue line is ML-3. And when you look at the geography of Pakistan, very sort of ideal for any kind of a railway system. If we need a strong railway system, a strong infrastructure, and good train operations for a country like Pakistan. And so you see in the south are the ports, and then you have the hinterland in the north, and the industrial areas, the agriculture areas in the heart of Punjab and KP and Upper Sindh. So ideally, a good country for any railway system, whether it is a passenger thing or a freight thing. Now, ML-1 is 1,872 kilometers long. ML-2 is 1,254 kilometers long, and ML-3 is 967 kilometers long. The rest of the branch lines, वो branch lines हैं, उनके फिर अपनी calculations हैं, and you can minus and see क्या है और क्या नहीं. So ML-1, you start from Karachi, go on to Sakkar and Rodi via Hyderabad, of course. Hyderabad बहुत बड़ी, it's a huge city. Then we have Quetta, Multan, Lahore, Moghalpura. Now these are those divisions which I pointed out. Karachi is a division, Sakkar is a division, Quetta is a division, Multan, Moghalpura, Lahore, and we have Pindi division. And let me just get this out here. Rawalpindi and and Peshawar division. Up boundaries hain. Every, as I said, this is geographical. So Karachi division is up to a place known as Tando Adam. From Tando Adam, Sakkar starts, goes on, and ends at Khanpur. Ye Rahim Yar Khan ke paas. Then from Rahim Yar Khan, beyond is Multan division. Multan division reaches up to Sahiwal. Sahiwal mein then Lahore division starts, and Lahore itself then has Moghalpura division, which is a workshop division. And Lahore division geographically ends at, on the ML-1, it ends at Lala Musa. Gujarat ke paas aa jata hai. Then Rawalpindi division starts from Lala Musa and ends at Golra, along with other branch lines. And from Golra to Peshawar and on to Landi Kothal, ye ML-1 ka hissa hai, which is then Peshawar division. And Quetta division, wo ML-3 ko pura उनके कंट्रोल में. Parts of ML-2 are in Multan, parts of ML-2 are in Peshawar and Rawalpindi. इसी तरह ML-3 part in Sakkar, part in क्वेटा। ये जो गवादर पोर्ट है, railway has already purchased land for construction of a huge railway yard. Allah kare this port goes up and there's traffic coming in and traffic going out and ships coming in and ships going out. So the railway has to, the port has to be connected by rail. If it is not connected by rail, it will never act as a good port. So the thing is there, railway has already purchased land and there are sort of plans for making a huge railway yard there, marshalling yard and other yards, so that traffic can get out and get into. And Gwadar then will be connected to ML-3. ये जेकबाबाद के पास आके मिलेगी इसको via Haran and via different places. This now I am just referring to how Pakistan is well connected in the sort of neighborhood of nations. At Khokrapar, Pakistan Railways is connected. We have a railway line going into Khokrapar and onto India. We have a connectivity with Iran at Taftan by ML-3, and we have a connectivity with Chaman by ML-3 from Quetta, bordering Afghanistan into Afghanistan. Then at India, we have another connectivity at Wagah. There used to be one more also, but that is closed now. You can see these railway lines, these red lines going into India. So ye the, but now these are closed. So we have one connectivity at Wagah. Trains can come and go, and there's a regular train service going into India. Then we are connected to Afghanistan at Torkham. Ye railway line Landikotal Jati, and it can be extended even beyond into Central Asia. There are plans. So as I talked about the divisional system, ye, as I said, Karachi, Sakhar, Multan, Quetta, Lahore, and Moghalpura workshop. Each one of them, and Peshawar, of course. Headquarter office, Rawalpindi and Peshawar. Headquarter office, since it is a huge office, so maintenance वगैरह Lahore division could not do it. So they have declared the headquarter office as a sort of a mini division. तो उसको DGM divisional, sorry, deputy general manager उसको head करता है. So these are the 9 divisions of Pakistan Railways. Now, as I said, route kilometers, Pakistan Railway has now 7,791 kilometers of route kilometers. Track kilometers 11,778. चलें आप मुझे now you please tell me कि route kilometers and track kilometers में क्या फर्क है? Anyone? Anyone? Can anyone tell me? I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? Ji?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
But can you tell me, as engineers, you should know what a route kilometer is and what a track kilometer is. What is the difference between this? You can see there is a difference of about 4,000 kilometers. नहीं पता? अच्छा, ट्रैक रूट किलोमीटर्स
रूट हम उसको भी कह सकते हैं जो सर रूट हम उसे कहते हैं फॉर एग्जांपल जिस तरह हमारा इस्लामाबाद टू हरिपुर एक प्रॉपर रूट है।
हाँ,
ट्रैक जो है हमारे पास थोड़ा सा एक्सटेंड होता है कि ट्रेन जहाँ से मुड़ सके या कुछ भी मतलब लोकोमोटिव की प्लेसिंग चेंज करने के लिए यूज हो सकता है। ट्रैक हमारे पास एज यूजुअल बड़ा होता है रूट किलोमीटर से।
अच्छा, वो तो आपकी बात सही है। रूट किलोमीटर रेफर्स टू द ट्रेन्स व्हिच आर रनिंग and which are being operated commercially. रेलवे स्टेशन के ऊपर होते हैं, इसको रूट किलोमीटर कहते हैं। इस पे डेस्टिनेशंस दिए हुए हैं। ट्रैक किलोमीटर ज्यादा इसलिए बिकॉज इन सम ऑफ द रेलवे स्टेशंस you have these major yards major yards. एक yard में, Lahore yard में, there are hundreds of kilometers of track. Lala Musa में, Pindi में, even Peshawar, there are a number of railway lines. इसी तरह when you go to Marshalling Yard, Karachi, it's a complete kilometers per kilometer के tracks हैं. So वो add हो जाते हैं. Then there are railway also operates sidings. From a railway station, say from Pindi station, there is a railway siding going into most of these army depots. Different railway sidings are in. There is a railway siding going into the dairy farm. There is a railway siding going into Attak oil. There are railway sidings going into cement factories. वो भी railway की, they are property of the railways. They come into track kilometers, but normally they are not counted as route kilometers क्योंकि उस पे station नहीं है.
सर रूट सर ये जो आपने अभी बताया है कि डिफरेंट स्टेशंस पर जाती है, सर ये हमारे पास रूट में नहीं आ सकता?
नहीं, जो स्टेशंस पे वो रूट पे है ना, ये वो जो रूट पे स्टेशंस हैं उनकी अंदर की जो साइडिंग्स हैं, उनके अंदर की जो मार्शलिंग यार्ड्स बने हुए हैं, उनके अंदर की जो सेटअप है, रेलवे लाइंस है, कोई शेड्स में जा रही हैं, कोई वर्कशॉप्स में जा रही हैं, कोई रेलवे कैरेज फैक्ट्री में जा रही हैं फॉर एग्जांपल, ये फिर ट्रैक किलोमीटर हो जाती है. द ट्रैक इज देयर बट इट इज नॉट यूज्ड फॉर कमर्शियल पर्पसेस. अपने रेलवे पर्पसेस के लिए इस्तेमाल होता है, शंटिंग के लिए, मार्शलिंग के लिए, बिकॉज ट्रेन्स हैव टू बी फॉर्म्ड एंड अ ट्रेन व्हेन इट इज फॉर्म्ड इन अ सर्टेन मैनर. ये नहीं कि आपने डब्बा इधर पकड़ लिया, डब्बा उधर पकड़ लिया. इट हैज टू बी फॉर्म्ड इन अ सर्टेन वे, वेदर इट इज अ फ्रेट ट्रेन और अ पैसेंजर ट्रेन. तो उसका अपना तरीका है कि किस तरीके से डब्बे लगेंगे. बिकॉज देन दीज कोचेस दैट आर अटैच्ड टू रेलवे, लेट अस से फॉर एग्जांपल तेजगाम है, it starts from Lahore, from Rawalpindi, goes on to Karachi via Lahore. Now at Rawalpindi, it will have 11 coaches. Now these 11 coaches may comprise of economy class coaches. It may comprise of sleeper class coaches. It may comprise of air conditioned coaches. It may even comprise of parlor car coaches. जो बैठने की है. Now how are these, in which order are they put? This is again quite a science. It's not just ad hoc, because the electricity, the generation has to be given, the wiring has to be done that way, because a full train is one unit. Now when this train reaches Lahore, the limitation of 11 coaches is because of the hilly areas in Rawalpindi and up to Lala Musa area. When you reach Lahore, it becomes a flat area. Now this same train can take another 7 coaches, passenger coaches, and those coaches are also defined. Which kinds of coaches are required? For Tezgam, you may have one kind of coaches. For Karachi Express, you may have another. For the Green Line, you may have another kind of coaches. So ये फिर different किस्म की. Now these coaches are placed on different lines. फिर वो उसको attach करते हैं. These are all marshalling होती है and खास तरीके से होती है. So just to tell you that track kilometers में included हैं all kinds of railway lines where sort of movement can be done, but on the route kilometers they define the commercial railway stations जहाँ से ticket issue होता है और जहाँ पे freight stations हैं हमारे. Then railway stations, we used to have about 650, I remember. Now these have been reduced to 527. Why? Because a number of railway lines have now been closed down. Say from Kohat to Tal, that railway line is closed. From Madi Indus to Banu, in narrow gauge की trains थी बंद हो गई. The Chakwal area, Mandra to Chakwal, ये line बंद है. Then number of other railway lines, पदीदन में एक पट फीडर एरिया में जाती थी, वो लाइन बंद है. तो वो स्टेशंस नेचुरली फिर बंद होते रहे. And sometimes we need to close down certain stations en route also because of signaling systems बेहतर आ गई हैं. So you don't need railway stations, operating stations, उनको बंद कर देते हैं. So that is why now the number has come down to 527. Then we have these railway halts. Now what is a railway halt and what is the difference between a railway station? A railway station is a place where 2 trains can cross each other. एक train is coming from the up direction, one going from the down direction. They can cross two lines, or at least two lines are maintained, if not more. On the railway halt, it is a station which gives you a ticket, which facilitates you in getting onto a train, but it is on one straight main line. The train just stops, a person with a ticket, he enters, and the train goes on. It is just a stoppage on the main line, on the line. तो ये 68 हैं, ये भी अब कम हो रहे हैं. Locomotives we have about 461. Keep adding and keep subtracting. ये होता रहता है. A new lot will come in. For example, we have these new 46 coaches coming in. आप देखते होंगे, you must have seen it in the newspaper, on social media. China से आई हैं. So they have not been added to what I'm going to tell you. वो होता रहता है. But generally we have this figure of 460, 470, 480 locomotives. But when we talk of locomotives, locomotives is a gadget, a sophisticated gadget, which has motive power. It has power to haul maybe 2,000, 2,500 tons of cargo, and a passenger train of 17, 18 coaches at 110 kilometers. मैं इसको locomotive कहता हूँ. If it can't do that, then it is either 3/4 of a locomotive, or it is half a locomotive, and at times it is a quarter of a locomotive. So in 461, the number looks very good when you tell somebody, a railway man from outside, another railway person from maybe from France or Japan or someplace, he will say, oh, it's a good railway, 461. But out of 461, 323 are functional. This also keeps on changing. बहुत से हमने खराब किए हुए, they are just dead locomotives, but not functioning. But the numbers 461 is there because it is on books. Now, some of these are even there for being cut up and for being declared redundant and beyond use. Passenger coaches, we have a figure of 1719, but actually 1000 are functional. Now, when you add these 46 that are coming in, and this project is of 203 coaches, which most of them will be manufactured here in the carriage factory. Even I heard today that the minister has gone to the carriage factory to see how this project is going to be handled. And they will handle it. We've been doing this, say this is not new. So another 200 will be added. But again, when you look at passenger coaches, 700-800 are, frankly, they need to be cut up. कुछ भी नहीं है उसमें, खत्म हो गई. And we have used them and reused them and reused them. Then freight wagons, conventional, we have 10,000. This figure used to be about 20 to 30, 25,000 wagons. These are, when we say wagons, ये four-wheelers हैं. Now four-wheelers is, frankly, we should not have them on the railways. ये मेरा view है. कोई काम की चीज नहीं है. Complete inefficient. I'll just give you an example कि four-wheeler wagon, उसका total carrying capacity is about 24 tons, maximum 24 tons. उस 24 tons total carrying capacity जो है, उसमें 12 ton, 12 tons is the tear of that wagon. So what are you doing when you're carrying 12 tons cargo? You're carrying 12 tons of your own weight. तो दुनिया बड़ी efficient हो गई है. Now these high capacity wagons, they can carry 80 tons, in which 22, 23 tons is the tear. The rest 60 tons you can carry the freight or the payload, which we call. Then freight wagons, high capacity wagons, we have 3,700. These are good wagons. These can be used, as some of them are as good as any in the world. Hopper wagons are very modern, which bring in coal from Karachi to the Saiwal power plant. Good wagons. And we have container wagons, again good. We have cargo carrying covered wagons. इसमें different types हैं. When you go into types, so open wagons, half open wagons, low lying wagons. There's a thing known as BFR, वो बिल्कुल low body bogie wagons हैं. There are wagons known as MBFRs, military low wagons. वो बिल्कुल well shaped होती हैं, उसमें tanks जाते हैं. So there are different types. Your total 3,700. The difference between your word आपके पास आता रहेगा रेलवे में. Bogie means 8 wheelers. उसके 4 एक्सल होते हैं. नॉर्मल वैगन इज अ 4 व्हीलर. 4 व्हीलर के 2 एक्सल्स होते हैं. वो 2 एक्सल दुनिया खत्म कर गई. We should also do away with completely inefficient. As I said, most of the time you are carrying just your own tear. अपना weight उठा के ले जाना. Then railway has about 4 sleeper factories. These sleeper factories are based all over Pakistan. एक कोहाट में है, एक रोड़ी में है, एक यहाँ पे शाहीनाबाद में है, एक खानेवाल में है. What they do is they produce and they manufacture railway sleepers, concrete railway sleepers for the railway track, for rehabilitation of the railway track. And so far they have done a good job, but they can't keep pace with the demand क्योंकि वो काफी चीजें खराब हो रही होती, तो इनके भी ओवर वर्कड हैं और कहीं कहीं पे तो हमने इनको आगे चलाया भी नहीं है. Chinese felt they will have to construct another maybe 4 sleeper factories on modern lines for the upgradation of ML-1. Then we have the dry ports all over the country. As I said, Karachi, starting from Karachi dry port. Now a dry port is a place where custom clearance is done, all other formalities are completed, and the customer gets his thing at his doorstep, almost at his doorstep. A person can book a container right from New York or from Rotterdam, or for that matter from Osaka in Japan, or from Shanghai, and book it right up to Peshawar. So he pays for the entire freight up to Peshawar, and the container is offloaded at Karachi port by the railways, brought into its own dry port at Karachi. All the custom duties, all things are cleared by the railways, and the same container sealed as it was in Shanghai or in Rotterdam or in New York, it comes right up to Peshawar. And once it is opened in Peshawar, then the custom formalities are done. So it is a good facility for the customer, the dry ports. We have 5 of them: Peshawar, Rawalpindi, Faisalabad, Multan, Quetta, Karachi, all these places. Then now I'll come. Now these were all dry statistics. कि है क्या? Infrastructure इतने kilometers, locomotives itne. What do you do with all this? That is where then trains come in. So these days, passenger trains per day, we have about 72 running. Floods की वजह से a lot of trains had to be, many trains had to be sort of cancelled or done away with क्योंकि floods ने बड़ी खराबी की, especially this time. Why? Because your main line was hit. Your main line to Quetta is still suspended. एक bridge गिर गया. So now we are just running about 70, maybe 50 trains. ये 70 भी नहीं. When I was general manager railways, we were running 274 trains a day all over the system. Was that good or bad? Very frankly, I would say कि इसमें कोई खराबी नहीं है अगर 70 भी रह जाए passenger trains. So वो we are going to discuss. You can ask me कि क्यों आप कह रहे हैं. Probably this was 2010. Again we were hit by floods. वो भी इसी किस्म के floods. Somehow ये 10 साल के बाद आए, as bad as the 2010. But when I was general manager, we are going to discuss this later on. I don't want to get into this. I suggested to the cabinet in those days that we are running 274 trains a day. I would like to close down 120 passenger trains. Daily जो passenger 120 चलती हैं, I just want to close them down. Reason being that we were spending like say 100 rupees on a train, and we were getting back 20 rupees and 30 rupees. And who pays for the 80 rupees or the 70 rupees जो बाकी expenditure आया? वो कहते जी सरकार देगी. सरकार said we don't have that money. So I said, otherwise also, frankly, somebody should have thought of it. Why are you running these trains when you're spending 100 rupees and you're getting back 20 rupees and 30 rupees? For whom? Then लोग कहते हैं जी लोगों के लिए कर रहे हैं, गरीब लोग. कोई गुर्बत नहीं है, frankly. There is no poverty, doesn't affect railways. And when people are not making use of it, and there is no revenue generation, it is proof that there are no people and there are no passengers. So might as well close it down. Once I was on an inspection, this is a long time back, 2004-5, when I was divisional superintendent at Pindi. I had gone on inspection and I was inspecting this section between Malikwal and Bera. There was a parallel road just near to the railway track, completely just near, almost the two are almost nearby in some places. In fact, too close for safety also. And I saw this motorcycle coming and just passing the railway train. Then another wagon came, an old wagon. It also crossed the railway train. Why? Because we could not maintain those tracks, and the speed was limited to 25 kilometers per hour. In some places it was 15 kilometers per hour. In some places maybe 40 or 50 kilometers. But mostly the journey time was much more between Malikwal and Bhera. So that same day I decided, okay, close this section down. Now, of course, being nostalgic, you say, okay, नहीं जी इसको ठीक करें. यार अगर 150 साल में हमने ठीक नहीं किया, then look at the reasons that why we have not maintained it. Because we didn't have those resources. And I am sure we will not have those resources in the next 10 to 15 years. So why are you wasting money on the operations of trains then? So then similarly, I then said, okay, close down 120 trains. Another example I'll give you is between Hyderabad and Badin, Sindh mein. There used to be one train running. There was a parallel road. The parallel road was made by the government. The railways is also owned by the government. Our train would run at 30-40 kilometers per hour. The road was fit for 120 kilometers per hour. 100 kilometers pe wagons chal rahi thi, buses chal rahi thi. Now, why are you running a train like that? I came to know, the Speaker of the National Assembly lives there, and she wants Kenny ji hona chahiye. So I just approached her. I said, we are losing so much on this. Millions of rupees is being spent, and we are recovering it, not even lakhs. So then I went to the cabinet, and luckily they approved. So ये चीजें देखनी. Freight trains, we run about 10 to 11 to 12 freight trains per day. And when I say freight trains, this is from Karachi to upcountry. इसको हम कहते हैं export from the port. तो वो 10 बन जाती है. Most of it now is luckily coal to Saiwan. फिर कुछ container trains है, कुछ wheat ही चल जाती है, कुछ fertilizer depending on of course the imports. Then railway has oil reserve of 12 days, 5 million liters. ये सिर्फ दिखाने के लिए. We should be having reserves for 3 months. Petrol, fuel reserves, which should sort of enable us during times of emergency, during times of war. ये बड़ा जरूरी है that the railway has oil reserves for 3 months. But because of certain reasons, वो 12 दिन पे आ गए. Luckily now these are increasing. Then railway schools and colleges, we have about 19 schools and 5 colleges. Major hospitals, we have 8. As I said, every divisional headquarter has a good hospital. Hassan Hospital, Karachi mein hai. Yeah, Railway Hospital in Pindi is a teaching hospital. We have a hospital in Peshawar. There were efforts to get it into a teaching hospital. Ab tak nahi hua. Lahore, Zabardast Hospital, Karen Hospital. So, and then we have these medical smaller hospitals all over the railway network. So the employees well looked after. Minor hospital dispensaries, minor hospitals 30 or dispensaries 23. Everywhere. First aid is a very, very important aspect of train operations. The employee has to be looked after. Employees sanctioned strength is 95,000, 859. Our employees on roll are 68,113. Now this sanction strength has been reduced by about 30,000, maybe 35,000 since 1980s. ये इतनी strength थी हमारी. Now this, we frankly, when I look at this figure, we can thank the World Bank, the IMF, the Asian Development Bank. They said, we're not going to give you money. If you keep recruiting people, and redundant people, आपकी train operations, you are not generating enough revenue to support your operations. We will not give you any loan for anything unless you decide that you will not employ new people, you will readjust people. Because of that, then we came down to this. Frankly, that is my view. Otherwise, we would have politically, इसको भर्ती करो, उसको भर्ती, चलता रहता था. Now from 90s on, 80s के बाद हमें ये हुआ तो कुछ sanity prevailed. And I personally feel ये जो you see 68,000 on roll, when I say that the train operations have reduced from 274 to 72, but this figure is also very high. I would say per train employees need to be reduced. ये the world over, India का हमसे आधे से कम है. Although their train operations is much more. It's similarly in European countries, वो तो खैर we can't even think. This is the same case with airlines. PIA में per aircraft employees सबसे ज़्यादा हैं दुनिया में हमारे. अल्लाह का फजल है. तो इसी तरह ये now we can easily reduce. And look at the number of pensioners. Pensioners 1,23,000. Pension bill railway का इतना बड़ा है कि it is almost killing the railways now. And frankly we can't afford it. This ये चीजें चलेंगी. We will in the process we are going to discuss कि इसको क्या किया जाए. एक तो ये है, the easiest way out is to tell the federal government you take over the pensions of the railways as you have taken over the pensions of the army. आर्मी के बहुत ज्यादा पेंशन हैं फ्रेंकली, वो रेलवे के बराबर कुछ भी नहीं है. रेलवे के एम्प्लॉइज तो वो पता नहीं, आई हैव फॉरगॉटन नाउ, बट मे बी 8-9 लाख लोग हैं. 1 मिलियन से भी होंगे बराबर पेंशनर. उनकी पेंशन सिविल फंड, सिविल बजट से जाती है. सो रेलवेज एफर्ट, वी आर पेइंग अ लॉट फॉर पेइंग ऑफ पेंशंस ऑफ 1,23,000 एम्प्लॉइज. देन हमने पहले भी डिस्कस किया कि ट्रैक्स 11,778, नॉन फंक्शनल ट्रैक 729, ये नहीं इस्तेमाल हो रहा है, कोई नैरो गेज है, कोई ऐसी रिडंडेंट साइडिंग्स है. लोकोमोटिव्स अगेन 461, वो इसको डिफरेंट तरीके से देख रहे हैं कि 50% आर ओवर एज. इसकी डिजाइन लाइफ 20 साल है और कुछ तो 20 साल या 30 साल से ज्यादा गुजार चुके हैं. इसी तरह पैसेंजर कोचेस वो 60% ओवर एज है, 35 इयर्स इसकी लाइफ है, हम कर चुके हैं, आगे लेके चलेंगे. एंड एज आई सेड, वो देखें ना फ्रेट वैगन्स 14,000 में 7,000 4 व्हीलर्स हैं. ये 94 लिखा हुआ है ओवर एज, ये 100% ओवर एज. 8 व्हीलर्स 3,000 और हाई कैपेसिटी वैगन 3,000, वो ओवर एज ये 0% जो है नजर आ रहा है. ये जो हमारे 8 व्हीलर्स हैं ये भी काफी पुराने हो चुके हैं. टेलीकॉम एंड सिग्नलिंग मोस्ट ऑफ इट इज ऑब्सोलीट, खत्म सिस्टम है. बट द गुड पार्ट इज, कंसोलेशन इज के कहीं कहीं पे वी हैव द मोस्ट मॉडर्न सिस्टम्स इन प्लेस, लाइक फ्रॉम लोधरा टू शादरा. ये अभी एक प्रोजेक्ट चल रहा है, पूरा कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ, काफी अरसे से चल रहा है. नाउ दिस इज मोस्ट मॉडर्न सिग्नलिंग दैट वन कैन हैव, वो भी चल रहा है और साथ साथ ऑब्सोलीट किस्म के सिस्टम्स हैं. तो ये हमारे जो एज आई सेड वो ट्रेन्स की ब्रेकअप है. वी हैव मेल एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन्स, ये 36 हैं. मेल एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन्स मींस रनिंग लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस, से बिटवीन पेशावर एंड कराची, रावलपिंडी एंड कराची, बिटवीन लाहौर एंड कराची, लाहौर एंड क्वेटा, कराची पिंडी एंड क्वेटा, पेशावर एंड क्वेटा. दीज आर मेल एक्सप्रेस. और मेल ट्रेन्स आर दोज ट्रेन्स विच कैरी पोस्ट. पाकिस्तान पोस्ट के ट्रेन्स इन पे लगे होते हैं, लाल रंग का डब्बा होगा, कभी वो पीला कर देते हैं, लेकिन एक जमाने में लाल था. तो ये पोस्ट मेल कैरिंग ट्रेन्स. देन वी हैव दिस इंटरसिटी ट्रेन्स. इंटरसिटी मींस लाहौर टू फैसलाबाद, लाहौर टू इस्लामाबाद. ये जितनी रेल कार्स यू सी रनिंग बिटवीन इस्लामाबाद एंड लाहौर, ये सारी दीज आर इंटरसिटी. देन यू हैव पेशावर रावलपिंडी, देन यू हैव हैदराबाद कराची, you have Karachi Mirpur Khas, you have Karachi Sakhar, you have Lahore Multan, you have Pindi via Kundia into Multan. So ये intercity trains. Then mixed trains are those trains, ये पहले बहुत ज़्यादा थी frankly. These are trains which can carry freight wagons also. तो पैसेंजर भी बैठे होते हैं, freight wagons भी बैठी होती हैं. There used to be a train running between Lahore and Rawalpindi, very popular mixed train. इसमें व्यापारी आते थे लाहौर से, अपना सामान फ्रेट वैगन्स में डाला, बल्क में भी डाला, काफी सामान होता था, वो आते थे, they were very happy. Overnight train, late night start from Lahore and early morning arrival at Karachi, Rawalpindi. So the business community के लिए बड़ी popular थी. At times when I joined the railways, I thought इसमें कौन जाता है, हर जगह रुक रही. But they were not, वो सोए होते थे और सुबह उठ जाते थे. Then shuttle trains ये local train है, नौशहरा पेशावर पता नहीं अभी हैं कि नहीं. And say लाहौर रायवेंड, लाहौर कसूर, इस किस्म की ट्रेन शटल्स. इंटरनेशनल अभी बंद है. ये एक हमारी जो इंडिया जाती थी, दैट इज द ओनली इंटरनेशनल ट्रेन्स. फ्रेट में, as I said, coal is very important, and this coal again is coming into Saiwal, imported coal. Then about 3 trains of containers, cargo की 2 trains हैं, and others. ये others में जो भी आ गया, रेल का माल आ गया, फर्टिलाइजर आ गया, सीमेंट आ गया, ये जूट आता था बहुत ज्यादा, कॉटन जाता था. So these are things. Now, when you look at this, this is not much, frankly, on the freight side. Cargo, I personally feel that cities like Multan, even cities like Sakkar, cities like Multan, cities like Faisalabad, cities like Gujranwala, cities like Sialkot, cities like even like Gujarat, cities like Peshawar and Rawalpindi. ये एक कार्गो, दो लाहौर तो स्पेशली 2 ट्रेन, दो एक ट्रेन अभी भी इनमें पोटेंशियल है, लेकिन वहां पे हमारे पास लाइन कैपेसिटी नहीं है. अगर ML-1 बन जाती है तो देन द स्काई इज द लिमिट, और द ट्रैफिक इज जस्ट वेटिंग फॉर ML-1 टू बी कंप्लीटेड. और ये सारी कार्गो फिर अब बाय ट्रेन आएगी. Why? Because the transit times will be reduced by almost half. So generally, whatever I have talked to you, this shows that Pakistan Railways is a medium-sized railway from international standards. And frankly, still, in spite of the fact कि इसमें neglect हुआ है, इसमें financial neglect हुआ है, will of the political leadership की बात आ जाती है, उसमें रेलवे की अपनी कारकर्दगी की बात आ जाती है. Not very, nothing to write home about, nothing to be very proud of. But still, it is a medium-sized railways of international standards, and we have done well so far. Then, as I said, a national trade corridor about 2,000 kilometers from Karachi ports in the south to the hinterland in the north and northwest. One of the best located countries for a railway. Geographical stretch is so ideal for a good railways, frankly, and we need it, and we need to sort of upgrade it. And we can't leave it like this. And that is why the government now is thinking of upgrading these railway lines. But a lot of money is required. And all the time, our problem is of deficits. Then ideal for robust and efficient railways, as already said. And when I explained the map there, frankly, very few railways will have such good international connectivity, where our railways is connected to Afghanistan at Chaman and Torkham. It is connected to Iran at Taftan. It is connected to India at Kokrapar and Wagah. And future, inshallah, we will be connected to China via the Khunjarab Pass. And then beyond, we can go on to Central Asia connectivity. So then railway, there's no stopping, frankly. And the future is there for the railways. The goods that are being moved, when we come to ML-1, I'm going to show you. The goods that are being transported from Western China take about a month to reach the Middle East. If this railway line is connected to China, it will take not more than 1 week to get connected. So बहुत बड़ा एक potential पड़ा हुआ है. And luckily we have this CPEC which is coming up. I hope we make some headway out of it. And as since we are looking at a glance, then this 7,600 is not in good shape. It is in bad shape, aging infrastructure. bridges, embankments, rail fittings, the sleepers, the ballast. It needs a lot of maintenance and lot of investment. It's not good. When we were doing this ML-1, especially the preliminary design and the feasibilities, we came to know that the bridges are already 160 years old. What else can you do with them? And there's a certain limit to looking at the bridges. Most of your civil engineers, with the age itself becomes a problem. ये तो इंसान में भी है. Yeah, when there was this judge in the Supreme Court of US, वहाँ पे there's no age limit for a judge. He was a sort of a black man. He retired. He was 82, so he retired. So somebody asked him a question, why did you retire? You can keep it on right up to as long as you live. He said, man, I'm sick. I'm not okay. So he says, what is your sickness? He said, my sickness is that I'm 82 years old. This itself is a sickness. So ये age, when the infrastructure, इसकी भी हर चीज की age है, bridge की भी age है, rail की भी age है, locomotives की age है, coaches की age है, freight wagons की, और चलाई जाओ, material fatigue होके बेड़ा पर. Then signaling system, as I said, काफी obsolete है, most of it is bad and needs to be sort of overhauled and renovated, and new projects again it needs money. Then processes हमारे जो maintenance के हैं, equipment और track की जो maintenance तरीके. Now you are civil engineers. I wish हम आपके सामने कहीं होते. We could have gone to a railway station. ये सारी चीजें you have to see them to believe me, to believe them. A railway sleeper, concrete railway sleeper. This should not be handled manually by the labor. It should not be handled. It is made that way. It has to be maintained and handled by a machine. Like, since we don't have those machines, the labor is still there. वही गैंती बेलचा मार रहे हैं, damaging the sleeper in the process, damaging the system in the process. तो ये मसले मसाइल हैं. And tamping machines, ballast cleaning machines, एक करके, दो करके. If there are there, तो maintenance उनकी नहीं है, खराब है. So again, outdated processes. नहीं हो रहा, ठीक नहीं है. Even our washing lines जहाँ पे trains wash होती हैं, they need to be automated. And frankly, इतना बड़ा काम नहीं है ये, लेकिन somehow वो पीछे रह जाते हैं. Then ML-1 fit ML-1 हम कहते हैं ML-1 mainline 1. It is designed for 110 to 120 kilometers per hour. In some places, of course, from Lahore to Multan, we've constructed a new railway line fit for 160 kilometers. But then most of the railway lines are 110, designed for 110 kilometers per hour, ML-1. ML-2 and ML-3 are in bad shape. ML-2 and ML-3, the heavy locomotives can't go there. That's another thing, axle load ka masla hai. On our main line 1, the axle load is 22.86 tons. On those lines, somewhere it is 17 tons, somewhere 18 tons. So the bigger locomotives with the heavier axle loads cannot even move on those lines. That these things, have to be understood. So I think I will stop here, or maybe this slide I will cover and then I will stop. Then, as we talked, rolling stock, mostly locomotives outlived their lives, not properly maintained. Some of the locomotives, the Chinese locomotives, 69 of them, have not even reached their productive life. They still have a 10 to 15 years of 10 to 11 years of productive life left. But because we could not maintain them, because we could not sort of go through the process of those schedules that are the original manufacturer says that you do this. He says you do the A schedule, the B schedule, the C, D, E, F, and these are the parts that are required to be replaced in these schedules. वो हम नहीं करते. Why? Because we don't have the money to buy those spares, or we have at times the supply chain is not good enough. So then you make do with these things. फिर scavenging शुरू हो जाती. And now 69 locomotives, Chinese locomotives, are standing idle at Karachi. They still have 9 to 10 years left of their life of 20 years. Now, this is shameful and again, a thing of concern. One of our MS students, he's even been given this as a research topic to look into this. Why, how can these locomotives be restored and how can they be put online because they have life left? Then, as I said, deficient maintenance facilities, that was in the track. This is for locomotives and coaches and wagons. We have not developed these facilities. We have the know-how to do it, but somehow deferred maintenance on the track, deferred maintenance on the locomotives, deferred maintenance on the rolling stock, and deferred maintenance on the human resource. ये कहानी है रेलवे की. When I was general manager railways, I just made a broad assessment. In today's terms, if the railway is given 2 billion rupees, which is frankly peanuts from what the railways is doing, 2 billion rupees for track maintenance, additional to what they are getting, and 2 billion rupees for rolling stock maintenance per year. Let me tell you, within 5 years, they will be able to maintain the entire track and the entire rolling stock. Within 5 to 10 years, ये सारा ठीक हो जाएगा. But वो 2 billion हर field में देने. And this is not begging. This is not more that we want. This is that amount which has not been given to the railways. So वो deferred हुआ. And now when you start deferring things on maintenance, then that original जो आपकी चीज़ है वो खराब हो जाती है. This is true for your car. You don't put oil, don't change oil, don't change filters. You see what happens to it within a few months. So यही हुआ. And as I said, human resource development outdated. When I started this MS in Railway Systems Engineering course here, this was the basic reason was to hit this point, that your training processes, your training methodologies, your training of officers, especially the officer class, who then make use of the assets, ये सारे outdated. आप मानेंगे नहीं अंग्रेज के जमाने की. आप मानेंगे नहीं, they were meant for the steam locomotive era. Nobody's bothered. So that is why then I thought, why not intervene here? And I was lucky to get 27 railway officers and convince them that MS in railway systems engineering is a better option. It is an education with training, with skill development, rather than going for those obsolete and archaic and old type of training that you impart them for 1 year or 2 years. And में होता कुछ नहीं. So this is the story up to now. Then next time I'm going to continue from here. अब कोई questions हैं क्या नहीं? मुझे ऐसे लगता है आप सारे सुन रहे होते हैं ऐसे ही. You're sleeping most of the time.